Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So, I just finished watching the documentary about Sarah Lawrence College on Peacock. It's called Sex, Lies, and the College Cult. And when I tell you that this was crazy, I mean, the twists and the turns. It starts off with this I have to say alleged, con man Larry Ray. So Lawrence Ray is his name. And it talks about how Larry Ray, brainwashed students from Sarah Lawrence College into an abusive sex cult that completely destroyed their lives. Like one girl was going into medical residency and she dropped out of medical school to become a prostitute for Ray. She was doing prostitution for him. And I mean, I when I watched it, my mind was blown. So let's go back to the beginning of this story. Larry Ray got out of prison and he moved into his daughter's dorm room at Sarah Lawrence College. Now, I've gone to college myself, and people would sometimes get upset if, you had a boyfriend or girlfriend and they spent the night occasionally. And understandably, I mean, I had a college boyfriend and, my roommate had a boyfriend. And so we would try to be respectful of when our significant other was in the room at the time and so on and so forth. But now, mind you, my roommate and I at that time were the like traditionally aged college students, so 18, 19, that sort of thing. Larry Ray was 50. He was in his 50s, and I'm laughing because I just like be for real. My freshman year, um, some of the rooms in my dorm were like all female, some were all male. Mine was actually split, so it was like um half of the floor was like all girls, and then you would turn the corner to the laundry room, and then the rest of the floor was all boys. And I mean, we never had an issue, and we had like bathroom codes and things like that, but no one for the most part was like really respectful. And then upstairs was the all girls floor, and I remember downstairs was the all guys floor. It was actually most of the football team that stayed there, but I digress. We were all, in our late teens. I don't even think anyone that was there was in their early 20s, because it was a first year dorm or a freshman residence hall. I cannot imagine somebody's grown dad. And I don't care how nice the college is, because Sarah Lawrence is a beautiful school. It is a liberal arts college, very expensive. I don't care. I don't care. Even when I became an upperclassman and one of my roommates was dating a guy in his 30s, we thought that that was kind of not weird, but, like stretching the end of the continuum where that age gap just kind of is kind of eyebrow raising. However, I I mean, Larry Ray, he tortured these kids and he manipulated them. You guys have to see the documentary because my heart really goes out to them. His daughter's name is Talia Ray, and I'm doing this video without putting up the pictures of the people that were tormented by Larry Ray, because my heart goes out to them and I don't want to further any kind of mental health damage or embarrassment that they might have from being in a brainwashed cult, because this man was just, the things that he did were just evil. He was connected with Rudy Giuliani and the commissioner of the New York Police Department at the time. and he took down the commissioner of the New York Police Department. He had ties with the FBI, and he was doing all of this while he was an ex-convict. So, well, Rudy Giuliani, he might become an ex-convict. He might be convicted for his crimes. He's under federal investigation as we speak. But anyway, birds of a feather. Larry Ray, he forced the friends of his daughter to become prostitutes. He would take them to his father's farm. His father was in North Carolina in a very rural area, and he would force them to do manual labor from like sun up to sundown. And then he would blame them for, breaking tools or things like that. And since they were brainwashed, they just accepted what he said. Like, oh, okay, I did break so-and-so tool. And then Larry would push the issue and exploit them for money and say, you owe me $100,000. And they would call their parents who would give them this money. And not all of these students were wealthy. So some of these students, particularly the young lady who dropped out of medical school, and I know I brought that up earlier, but it just blows my mind because you have to have a brilliant mind in order to even get accepted into medical school. She was, I think, finishing and starting her residency and then dropped out and was manipulated and became a prostitute for this man, for him. Like he would physically abuse these kids and drove some of them to, trigger warning here, but like suicide attempts. This whole situation was eye-opening. I think, to me, to the power of brainwashing, cults. His daughter got in trouble. I don't think she was officially indicted. She didn't serve any time, but he was convicted. And let me look up his sentence. On April 6, 2022, so this year, a few months ago, a jury took just 5 hours to convict Lawrence Ray on 15 counts, including racketeering, extortion, forced labor, sex trafficking, obstruction of justice, and money laundering. He faces life in prison when federal judge Louis Lindman sentences him in the U.S. District Court in Manhattan on December 1st. So he hasn't been officially sentenced yet, but he is facing life in prison. And yeah, this man should not be out on the streets. He is clearly a menace to society. He was already convicted before moving into his daughter's dorm room in Sarah Lawrence. And it blows my mind that security was not called on this 50-something-year-old man living in his daughter's dorm room. Even further in the documentary, there was a landlord, and he said that he was squatting there, and it took him 3 years to get him evicted, to get Larry Ray evicted out of the apartment that he left after spending all that time in his daughter's dorm room and building up his cult and brainwashing these poor college students. So my takeaway is, please protect yourself. Please, there are predators out there. If something doesn't feel right in your gut, get away from it. There are 8 billion people in this world. You can make, more friends. If people don't have your best interest at heart, please go the other way. If you see a 50-year-old man, which, again, all the red flags. I don't know. I don't know how he got past security. My guess is he was saying like, oh, this is my daughter, and he just came to visit. But I don't know how he moved in to a college dorm. You can't live there unless you're paying tuition. So you guys take care of yourselves. Watch this documentary if you haven't already. It is so eye-opening, and I will talk to you lovely people later. Take it easy. Bye.